What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Patrick here. Moving on to the next question, dealing with valuation. So what is the future value of $3,000 invested into an account paying 6% interest for 5 years? And then how much of this future value comes from simple interest and how much of it is going to come from interest on interest, quote unquote. So in this question, to show it on a timeline, what's happening is in time 0, we're investing $3,000. And then we're going to end up with some future value amount in year 5. And we're going to have to break that future value into certain components to answer the second question. But the first thing we have to do is figure out what that future value is. 2 ways you can do it, algebraically or with the financial calculator. I'll show you both ways. So algebraically, we know future value is equal to what? PV, the present value, times 1 plus R to the power of t. So 3,000 is the PV, that's how much we're investing, 1 plus the interest rate, 6% in decimals, to the power of 5. So this would end up being 3,000, 1.06 to the power of 5. Make sure you're doing this portion first in your calculator, do the exponent, then multiply it by 3,000, and you'd end up with $4,015 if we round it to the nearest dollar. Right, so the amount you're going to receive is $4,015 in 5 years if you invest at 6%. Now you can also get this value with the financial calculator. So we would input PV negative 3,000, right? We're investing 3,000, so that would be a cash outflow, negative. N would be 5 for 5 years. The interest rate is 6. There are no cash flows in between, no payments in between, and so when you solve for that future value, you should get that same $4,015 amount. Now, what's happening, just in general actually, first, is whenever you have a future value like this, it's always broken down into certain components. So it's broken down into the principal amount, the amount that you initially invested. It's broken down into simple interest. And then it's also broken down into a component, we can call it interest on interest, in quotes. So going back to this specific example, in time 0, what's happening is we're investing $3,000. And what's going to happen in 1 year? How much are we going to receive? Well, we're going to receive 6% of the 3,000. 6% of $3,000, 0.06 times 3,000 would give us 180. Okay, so that's the simple interest portion. Now, what's going to happen in year 2? Well, we're going to receive 6% on the 3,000 again, right, on that principal amount. So we're still going to receive that 180. That's the simple interest. But we're also going to receive 6% of this interest amount. And that's going to be the interest on interest portion. So 6% of 180 is $10.80. And so the total amount that we'll receive in year 2 is going to be these two added together, which would be $190.80. So the simple interest portion, and then this portion is the interest on interest portion. And that's going to continue on and on. So in year 3, we're going to get the 180, the simple interest portion, and then we're going to receive the interest on interest, 6% of this amount. And on until we get to this. And then when you add everything up, you would see that it equals $4,015. And so taking this and relating it to this diagram, this future value of 4,015, it's broken down into the three components, the 3,000, right, the principal, the simple interest. Now this is going on for 5 years. We know that the simple interest is staying constant. That always stays constant, and we're getting 180 every year. So the simple interest would be 180 times 5. It would be $900 for the entire 5 years. Right, so the 4,015 broken down into principal 3,000, simple interest 900. And so to get this interest on interest, you don't have to do this manually for 5 years. All you have to do is take the difference. You could take this amount, the total amount, and subtract the principal and then the simple interest, because the simple interest is always going to be easy to calculate. So this is not bad because it's for 5 years, but what if it was for 50 years, right? We're not going to do this 50 times. Well, it would be easy. All you have to do is multiply. You have to change this 5 to a 50, and you'd have the simple interest. Then you could take that new future value, subtract these two to get the interest on interest. So you don't have to do this manual sort of process. I just kind of wanted to show you it initially so you understand what is happening. And so 4,015 minus 3,000 minus 900, that would give you approximately $115. And so that's the interest on interest portion. All right, so that's how you could quickly do it. You just have to calculate the future value. You've got to calculate the simple interest portion, which is going to be the interest rate times the principal, which is the 180, and then just multiply that by the number of years. That's staying constant. And then this is the variable, quote unquote, that you got to solve for. All right, so how much of this future value comes from simple interest? 900. How much comes from interest on interest? 115.